Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and this is our Friday night extravaganza of paranormal fun. You can find us for 2 full hours tonight to doing our very best to keep you entertained and informed into the world of the Paranormal Portal. And hopefully that's a good time. I've heard several enjoy it, and so I'm hoping you will too. If you happen to be new to the show, but thank you everybody for being here, coming in. The lines are building up. I can see the queues expanding, and I'm not alone here. I'm not all by myself, folks. On these normal Friday nights, it'd be all by myself and sitting here and having a great time talking with you. But I've got backup tonight. I'm not doing this by myself because my very good friend and co-host, Mr. Don Longbeard, happened to show up. Welcome, Don. That's a little diabolical. Or his evil twin. I'm not sure which one showed up.
Gosh, I don't know. I'm the good one.
You are the good one. Welcome to the show, man. How's everything? Okay. That was the most non-answer I've ever heard, I think. But welcome. It's good to have you here. It's
good. All's good.
Hey, J-Rock. Good to see you. J-Rock says, hi, Brent. Hi. Great to see you guys. Thank you for coming in. Everybody that's here and everybody that's coming in, make sure to spread the word so that any of your weird friends that might be into the paranormal know about us too, because that would be really cool. Don.
Yes.
Everything good in your world?
All is good.
Did anything come in the mail?
Oh, that's right. We got mail.
We got mail.
Hold on.
Wow. And this isn't just normal mail. I mean, it's not just a bill. It's not just bills like normal. It's actually something fun. Something actually pretty striking.
Yeah, actually, it's really cool. So let's get to it, shall we?
Let me blow you up here. Let's go to full beard vision.
Blown beard vision.
All right.
All right, there we go.
I love that. That was a good tear, man. That was classic.
Good.
That was well done.
Yes. Well, yeah.
You'd swear that box had never opened before we even started the show.
You weren't supposed to do that. So this came from our friends, the BLB boys, Blue Line Bigfoot, Adam and Jake, and looky there.
Looky there.
We have our very own BLB hats now.
Ooh.
We are official BLBs. That one, I believe, is yours.
Well, hell yeah. Let me represent here. Wow. I need some more headspace. I'm going to use the headphones. Let's see if I can do this here. I'm going to put us both on screen so we can wear it in unison. But I got to get my fat headphones off for a second. All right, let's see how this looks. All right, so if I wear it backwards, it'd be like this. Actually, these things are beautiful. I've got to admit that seeing them done, and I saw a video of them making these, It was pretty impressive. It was very colorful. But these are actually beautiful. I mean, they're actually beautiful. And you can see now, folks, why I don't wear my hat this way, ever. Because
you should probably take the one hat off first before you
well, you'd think, but then I'd have to show my messy locks.
That's why we wear hats.
That's why we wear hats.
Nobody knows we're having a horrible day.
This is beautiful. I mean, it really is colorful and very well done. And this is going to be welcome into the studio wall behind me. And thank you, BLB boys. We are absolutely honored to be representing our fellowship of the ring.
Which is a portal.
Because Jake's kind of a dwarf too. And Adam, I don't know which what do you think? Is he an elf or what's going on with Adam?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But we've got our own fellowship of the ring here cooking. So this is a very beautiful representation. Thank you. It says Brent on the back. PPP, and it's signed. So very beautiful stuff. Thank you very much, guys. We are honored and absolutely brilliant. It's beautiful. I'm really surprised because it's like when we did that show with those guys,
right?
And Adam's like, I'm going to paint the picture, and I was like,
yeah.
Wait a minute. Oh, this is going to be something funny. But you went on to paint the most beautiful mountainscape I've ever seen.
It was pretty awesome.
Like, what?
He
what?
just kind of whipped it out.
He's like, and he's Bob Ross in it. And I was like, what the hell just happened? He can do that. Well, he could. And these are, I think these are Jake's handiwork.
I believe so.
And he's got a hell of a, I don't know, I just love the use of colors and how it just pops. Thank you guys. Honored. We appreciate it, and we just wanted to give them the recognition they deserved. I've got a huge head, so I can't wear brand new hats until they're well broken. But this is going to go on the wall anyway, because I don't look good in many hats, and so that's why I always have the same kind. What are these called that I wear, Don? What do you call them?
They're Irish flat caps, or they're also called
like a beret, or
no, it's not.
Okay.
It's not a beret. No.
All right. Well,
Irish flat. What is the other one? I can't remember.
I don't know.
But anyhow.
Well, thank you guys. We appreciate it. We just wanted to showcase that at the top end of the show because it was exciting. We always love getting packages and fun stuff in the mail.
I knew it was Jake who when I pulled this letter out. This is how Jake folds his letters.
It is. There's nothing normal about Jake at all. Jake's got his own way of doing everything. And you got to love him for it because it takes a hell of a lot of creativity to reinvent your person.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, it's, It was awesome. So thank you, fellas.
Thank you, fellas. We appreciate it. Oh, thank you, Kirsten. Awesome. Well, as time is ticking, I realize that we got to also get ticking too because we got a lot of show to get to. So special thank you once again to the BLB boys. Awesome. We had a lot of fun getting those. We will display them with pride here.
Apparently, Jake's over at watching confessionals.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
He's watching what?
Who? Never heard of her.
Huh? Well, anyway, let's move on to the news.
Yes.
The news. All right, folks, this is the Paranormal Portal News Network that you are watching right now. As we break in for tonight's emergency news announcements, and usually they're not that urgent at all, but we're going to get to them. You know what's funny, Don?
What's that?
Look at the one article I pulled up.
Oh.
Isn't that funny?
Sure.
It was one I already had pulled up from before.
I
but,
didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know it either. I just kind of grabbed some stuff and was like, oh, let's talk about this and this and this and this. The first article tonight is coming from, and I think the one that you have is much more in-depth than any of this. This is just a little mention. We're going to get into this a little bit more in-depth later, folks. But tonight's first article in the news is from unexplained-mysteries.com. It says Pentagon. Whoops, I did the right one. Pentagon, pyramid UFO footage, authentic. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that's pretty huge because that pyramid UFO footage was pretty intense. What is this thing and where did it come from? The Pentagon has confirmed the authenticity of recently released footage of pyramid-shaped UFOs. Now, this is pyramid-shaped. Mm-hmm. This isn't just triangles and stuff, so that's really unusual. Produced by filmmaker Jeremy Corbell and reporter George Knapp, the newly unearthed evidence includes images and video footage of pyramid-shaped objects flying through the night sky. Now, the Pentagon has come forward to confirm that these UAPs, or unidentified aerial phenomena, are in fact authentic and that they were captured by the U.S. Navy. I can confirm that the reference photos and videos were taken by naval personnel, said Pentagon spokesperson Susan Gow, in a statement that has since been widely distributed by the media. The UAPTF has included these incidents in their ongoing examinations. As we have said before, to maintain operations security and to avoid disclosing information that may be useful to potential adversaries, DoD does not discuss publicly the details of either the observations or the examinations of reported incursions into our training ranges or designated airspace, including those incursions initially designated as UAPs. According to Corbell and Knapp, these images were presented during a series of classified intelligence briefings back in May of 2020. It is also believed that they were captured from the USS Russell off the coast of San Diego in 2019. Exactly what these strange pyramid-shaped objects are, however, continues to remain a mystery. That's weird, and I can't really show you the footage because, well, we could look at a clip of it. Let's look at a clip. What do you think, Don?
Sure.
Why not, right?
Why not?
I'm going to put a link, though, to the TFR and let you guys look at it as well if you choose to. Again, we're not going to spend too much time with this because, it's fair use to look at it since we've just discussed it. But at any case, Bam's in there, and he may find that interesting. So here is a bit of the footage for those of you on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube and you're hearing the sound of my voice, you could see the show live if you head over to youtube.com/Paranormal Portal, and you can watch it as it's going on as well. So this is a little bit of the clip of what this is. Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks a little better presentation than the ones I've recorded. Okay. What is flashing, though, isn't it? Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Wow. There you go. Very interesting. You got a nice zoom on that, though. Is that a double image on that last part? Huh. I just want to look at that part again. It's a 19-second clip, but there's like a double image if you're there. That's weird. So there it is, folks. Apparently it's legitimate. What it is exactly, nobody knows, but it doesn't appear to be from around here, which I think is a little disconcerting. What do you think of stuff like that, Don?
I really like that kind of stuff, especially when you can finally get somebody to say, well, I was taken off in a U.S. Navy boat. So,
yeah.
That's definite confirmation that that even they think there's something weird out there.
Right.
So,
yeah, I think so too.
Things.
I think so too. I think that's powerful, powerful stuff. I'd be interested to know if it showed up outside of IR,
right.
or not.
Right.
But other than that, yeah, that's a good capture. Really interesting. There's pyramids floating around out there. I don't know what that means, but apparently there is. Let's go to the next article. Next one up on the bat here is, this is some really scary stuff. This is more of that scary stuff that's going on. I think this is going on in Japan because they've got special legal clearance to do this, but I think it's horrible. I think it's frightening. And it says hybrid embryos are part human, part monkey.
Yeah.
The controversial subject, let me put this up here. The controversial research, while impressive, has unsurprisingly raised some major ethical concerns. And this is from unexplained-mysteries.com. And it says, while the achievement could lead to a number of significant medical advancements, not everyone is thrilled about the idea of cross-species chimeras that are part human, part monkey. The result, which involved injecting human stem cells into early-stage macaque monkeys embryos, was carried out by researchers at the Salk Institute, in California. Wow. Okay, the resulting embryos lived for approximately 19 days before having to be destroyed. So what is that? The hell are they doing? Mm-hmm. Let's see if we can. It's like a Lego set. This is not Legos.
Yeah.
It's something that's alive, for God's sakes. Some scientists, such as Professor Julian Savulescu of the University of Oxford, believe that experiments like this have the potential to open up an ethical can of worms. I would agree with him. The most difficult issue lies in the future, he said. This research opens Pandora's box to human, non-human chimeras. Mm-hmm. These embryos were destroyed at 20 days of development, but it is only a matter of time before a human, non-human chimera are successfully developed, perhaps as a source of organs for humans. Oh my God. What kind of ego do we have? Let's just grow our own on these monkeys. They won't mind. Well, we're already doing it on mice and pigs and stuff. Yep. This is one of the long-term goals of the research. The key ethical question is, what is the moral status of these novel creatures? Before any experiments are performed on live-born chimeras or their organs extracted, it is essential that their mental capabilities and lives are properly assessed. What looks like a non-human animal may mentally be close to a human. Yeah, that's weird. And what happens when, oops, they got out of the lab? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Planet of the Apes. That's how you get Planet of the Apes.
Damn you!
I saw that movie. That doesn't work out well. So now it's like gorilla-sized humans. Mm-hmm. That's frightening. Wow, there you go, folks. Yeah. Again, why for 20 days? What is it? Because something was happening in the development at 20 days that they had to scrub it. Like, oh, this isn't growing right. This is a puddle of eyeballs and fingernails.
Oh, goodness.
It could be. It could be. like they just are trying to find the combination.
Right.
So why did they scrub it at 20 days? Well, something must not have been developing
Maybe
right.
because it's unethical.
I don't think that. I would think that would have stopped them. If ethics was a big concern,
Yeah.
that would have stopped them before they started, I would think. But wow, that's creepy. Whatever the case, man, they're playing with the that's the big toolbox. You don't mess with that.
No.
Wow. Okay. Well, there you have it. That's another bad idea in a long line of bad ideas. So we'll leave it there and see what comes up in the next report out of there. But this one I thought was interesting because it talks about a much more extensive timeline for Homo sapiens than I've ever heard expressed scientifically before. And this is coming from unexplainedmysteries.com. And the article in question is, humans were apex predators for 2 million years. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Talking about humans being apex predators for 2 million years?
No.
It was like tens of thousands is the numbers that I'm most normally hearing when talking about our long distant ancestors. Is that correct for you?
I'm sorry, say that again?
I'm usually hearing when they're referring to the first humans, we're talking like 50,000, maybe 100,000 years ago, but not in millions, right?
Well, no, because even they say that the Aboriginals of Australia are the longest surviving civilization, having, started farming and things like this. And they're put at 60,000 years.
Oh, okay.
So, you're only talking 150,000 years, maybe 200 years that I've heard of, but not millions.
Right.
So
millions is a big extension.
Right.
Onto 60,000. Wow. Okay, so let's see what this says. This says a new study has indicated that Homo sapiens dined almost exclusively on meat for over 2 million years. All right.
Did they smoke it?
There's your keto. One of the most popular dietary trends currently is the so-called paleo diet, which focuses on a balance of fruit, nuts, fish, and lean meats thought to mirror the diet of our prehistoric ancestors. Mm-hmm. In reality, however, our ancestors dined much more heavily on meat. Yeah. For up to 2 million years, that is at least, according to the findings of a new study by researchers at Israel's Tel Aviv University and the University of Minho in Portugal. By analyzing the results of hundreds of previous studies, the team was able to conclude that modern hunter-gatherers have given us the wrong impression of what our prehistoric ancestors ate. This comparison is futile, however, because 2 million years ago, hunter-gatherer societies could hunt and consume elephants and other large animals, while today's hunter-gatherers do not have access to such bounty, said Miki Ben-Dor at Tel Aviv University. We decided to use other methods to reconstruct the diet of Stone Age humans, to examine the memory preserved in our bodies, our metabolism, genetics, and physical build. Human behavior changes rapidly, but evolution is slow. The body remembers. According to the study, evidence points to the likelihood that our ancestors became highly carnivorous around 2.5 million years ago, and this continued until 11,700 years ago. After that, plant consumption became more commonplace, and comparisons between our ancestors and modern hunter-gatherers became more useful. The Neolithic revolution of farming and agriculture would ultimately see mankind move into the path that would lead to modern civilization and the eventual diets that we see today. I'll bet you there was no drive-thrus then.
It was more like drive-by, spearings.
Let's head over to Taco Tomahawk. It's not Taco Bell.
Oh, boy.
I don't know. They probably had axes and stuff.
Well, there's a lot of things, too. We had mentioned 11,000 years ago, there was supposedly a... that's the mud floods referred to. And, and the ice... our valley here in this part of the world is carved by those glaciers from 12,000 years ago, 11 to 12,000, 15,000 years ago.
Uh-huh.
So that's when all that glacial ice was moving around, cutting, everything out.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that say that the reason we eat meat is because after the great deluge of Noah's time. Okay. is that because we couldn't eat the animals because there was only 2 of each of them.
Oh yeah, there wasn't a lot of them around.
So that's when the plant-based foods came really hit. So that was supposedly only like what 2,500 years ago.
Oh, was it?
Well, 2,000 years ago was the birth of Christ. So 2021.
Well, no, Noah. I mean, Noah goes
But
way
Noah was
back.
before that. But
Yeah.
how far? Nobody knows.
Well, quite a ways, I think.
Well, they only talk about like the Israelites coming out of Egypt, like 300 BC.
Sure, but I think this is well before all of that.
BCE, I should say.
I think the whole flooding was prior to that. But yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, yeah, it was definitely prior to that. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's when I hear, oh yeah, that's when we started eating animals because there was nothing left and blah blah blah. But
Well,
yeah,
maybe.
you can only if there's only 2 of them, you really can't eat it.
That's true. That definitely bumps right into the breeding stock
Yeah.
in a hurry. Well, there you have it, folks.
Anyhow,
So that's a little bit of news there for you. Let's take a look at the time. We got 4 minutes.
wow.
I think we only got 1 or 2 more anyway. So let's see what we got. Let's see what we got here. Moving on to the next one. And this idiot. Oh man. So, oftentimes folks, we've speculated that there are certain areas that like to publicize their cryptids. They love publicizing their cryptids, and today's article is no exception because out of unexplainedmysteries.com comes a Russian official admits to staging Yeti sightings. Yep, one of Putin's longest-serving regional leaders has admitted to using fake Yeti to attract tourists.
Oh, jeez.
Siberia's Shora Mountains have been home to a number of unexplained sightings of a large bipedal ape-like creature over the years, but now it seems as though at least some of these were a hoax. Aman Tulyev, who was governor of Kemerovo Oblast from 1997 to 2018, has made the rather startling confession that he employed a man in a Yeti costume to drum up interest in the region.
Wow.
I must admit, I confess, yes, it was I who fueled interest in the Yeti, he said. Initially, Tulyev had tried to drum up business by arranging an annual Yeti Day and the promise of a cash prize being offered to anyone who could produce proof of the creature's existence. People started coming, rushing to scour the forest, he said. Of course, no one found the Yeti, but Shoria attracted increased attention. Mm-hmm. Once interested in the hunt had faded, however, he told his district chief, Vladimir Makuta, to find someone tall, throw off his office suit, turn a fur coat inside out, and run around, shouting so that tourists notice, but they must not catch him. Despite the ruse, however, Tulyev remains adamant the creature does actually exist. Many local hunters swear that they saw a 2-meter giant with their own eyes in remote places covered with hair. Scientists have not been able yet to meet with him, but they seem to have found traces. Well, sure. Again, I grew up in right along the Mississippi River, and apparently there's a legend of Pepe, which is a lake monster, but I grew up swimming in that lake. I never heard about it until I was an adult, and I didn't hear about it until I was an adult because it was the mayor / hotel owner in Lake City that decided to put up $1 million bounty for Pepe. And then, of course, people start crawling out of the woodwork. So, these things get publicized for obvious reasons. It's good for economies. It's good to keep interest in the area. And, I don't think it's all bad, but it certainly commercializes what could very well be some amazing discovery. Right, Don?
Yes. But yeah, everybody has to have their own way to drum up, the tourism business.
The tourism.
And so, because it relivens the community. It's good for the community.
It bolsters the economy.
Yes, very much so.
Well, speaking of bolstering the economy, we're going to have to go to break here pretty quick, but we're done with the news, so let's head back to our regularly scheduled program. Boom, there we are. We're back at it. We are going to go to break, ladies and gentlemen, if you can believe it. 1.5 hour is already behind us. It happened so fast. I didn't even see the warning signs, Don.
I know. Gosh.
You yawn. You having fun, Don?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Good. Yeah, me too. But we are going to go to our break, ladies and gentlemen, so don't go away. We'll be back with much more of the Paranormal Portal. And you, hopefully. Make sure that the you part happens.
And you.
You can join us. I'm not sure when the music's coming, but I imagine it's coming sometime. Anything, Don?
Anything? What? No?
I'm not hearing any music.
I'm not hearing anything.
I don't get any music.
Uh-oh.
So there it comes.
There it is.
There's the music, folks. So we'll be right back. Don't go away. In just a couple minutes, we'll be returning with more of the Paranormal Portal. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Second half hour is now upon us. And we hope you're having a good time. And if you're not, just remember you're getting exactly what you paid for.
Just give us a thumbs up. We appreciate it.
We love the thumbs ups.
still love you.
Absolutely. Yeah, please feel free to like the stream if you like what you're seeing. If you're on YouTube especially, we enjoy that. We enjoy reflecting back on our successes when they happen. And certainly a thumbs up is a success, right, Don?
The thumbs up is a success, yes.
Internationally recognized sign of success, I think.
Huh.
So, well,
Okay.
I think. That's what they told me. All right, folks. We're going to go to an article we've been burning through for a little while now. And let's see, we're on number 46. Let's see, what is this called? Why in the hell is that all funky? Weird. Like it's already all the way up there. How is that right?
I don't know.
That's kind of weird, huh?
I don't know. 'Cause I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not sure I know what I'm talking about here.
Is that just another page? Did it?
Yeah, well, it's an article we've been going through, but I don't know why it's already queued up to the top of the page, but it's at this number. A Wrinkle in Time.
That may explain it.
Yeah, maybe it just maybe it just resets it. I just wonder how far does this go? Oh, I guess we're almost through it. Okay. Okay, so the first one, the article is called "Beyond Belief, These Eerie Experiences Simply Can't Be Explained." That's really kind of it, though, isn't it? Upside down. You know what? This one might actually be done. Oh, yeah. Okay. I almost read part of an old article here. Sorry, guys. I almost nerfed that one up real good. I can do lots of fun things in a hurry, especially with tabs lately. I've been totally screwing up with my tabs. I was doing a show last night, Don. I had like 2 articles that was pulled up.
Right.
And I managed to close that. And I could not find them again.
Good job.
It's like, oh no. How did I work that out? Well, it's how I roll here. I'm just still cooking to try to find the list. But you know what? It might actually be on here. I've got too many things cooking, as usual. All right, so this one is talking about sixth sense.
Oh.
The sixth sense when gut feelings turned out to be 100% right. This is another one that I was going to go through tonight anyway, so when I find the other article, we'll continue with that, wherever the hell it went. But this one is number 15, Thinking Twice as Fast. And I like these because, I think everybody has a sixth sense.
Right.
I think we all have that special ability to know when something's not right. And to reiterate something I said a couple shows ago, it's like the first job I ever had where it was not only acknowledged, it was encouraged that you pay attention to your gut.
Oh, yeah.
Was in corrections. When I worked corrections, it was like, if you feel something's wrong, trust that and pay attention because chances are you're absolutely right. And I never worked somewhere that was so adamant about that. They were like, pay attention. If something feels wrong in your gut, your body's picking up something. So I thought that was really kind of exciting and cool and even rather esoteric, but even things like moon cycles.
Right.
Did you notice that, Don, when you were working corrections and moon cycles?
Yes.
Yeah, we did too.
Oh,
we
my
had
God, yes.
some of the
just
weirdest
go
nights.
nuts.
Yeah. It really is something to that, folks, about people being lunatics, literally lunatics. When the full moon is out, people get batty. So, but this one, the first one we're on now is number 15, Thinking Twice as Fast. When I was riding motorcycles full-time as a courier, I developed what I can only describe as a completely subconscious autopilot. Thank God for it, too, because one day it saved my life. As I moved off from a set of traffic lights, I caught a fast movement some distance away in the corner of my eye. There was no conscious decision at all. I performed the most extreme braking maneuver I've ever attempted. The bike stood up on its front wheel, which was then smashed out from under me by the car which ran the red light at full speed. I basically made a barrel roll in place and got dumped on the ground. No serious injuries, but maybe a bruise or two. It's just like that. Boom. Everything changed. Wow. Number 16 is Just Desserts. When I was 6, my dad and I parked at the library so he could just return a book. He said he'd be quick, so he left me in the car with the doors locked, etc. And just as soon as he got out of view, a guy came to the window and asked me to open the door. I rolled down the window a little and he told me the car lights were on and to let him in to show me how to turn them off. I don't really know why I didn't listen to him. I told my dad would be back soon and he'd take care of it, and then he kept insisting that I let him in to turn them off. But I wasn't having it. I don't know why. I didn't even realize it was a weird situation.
You all right over there? Swallow a fly? I don't know why he swallowed a fly. Perhaps he'll fly. Or something. Wash it down with water.
Yeah.
There you go.
I need the protein. He kept insisting that I let him in to turn them off, but I wasn't having it. And I don't know why. I didn't realize it was a weird situation until I told my dad like 10 minutes later when we were leaving the parking lot. His reaction was bone-chilling. He swerved over to the side of the road and asked if I could still see the guy. I said no, and we left. Then he got me an ice cream because I didn't let the weirdo into the car. At the time, it didn't click, but now that I'm older, I'm so glad I did not let the guy in.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that was a one-way problem right there for sure. Good for you, kid. Sometimes double-checking isn't enough. One day, my baby was super sick and wheezing, so I took him to urgent care and then prescribed him steroids and a breathing treatment, and it seemed pretty normal until I looked at the dosage, which seemed really high. The doctor reassured me and said that my son was just a big boy, so it was fine. Well, I still felt uncomfortable about it. I filled the prescription and started the breathing treatment, but only did a half dose for half the time. I didn't give him any steroids, and his hives from the previous antibiotics were not going away, so I took him again the next morning to his pediatrician. The pediatrician basically told me I saved my son's life because the dosage for both medications were for a 300-pound adult, not a 30-pound baby.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, dear God. So he put in a complaint about the other doctor and pharmacist. Apparently, they should have caught it during my consult. I called in and complained as well, and apparently almost killing a baby is pretty serious. My pediatrician said the doctor and the lead pharmacist were promptly disciplined and fired.
Wow.
Yeah, that's horrible,
That's
man.
what you get for not having good handwriting. Because it started with the doctor, and the pharmacist couldn't read it either.
Right.
Ah.
You know, and in pharmacy's defense, I don't know if they always really realize, or I don't know. It's more of a fast food industry now, I think, than it once was. But anyway, that's pretty bizarre. Thank God that she didn't listen, though. Good for her. She still has a child now, thanks to that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Sleepwalking is next. In the middle of the night, for no good reason, I left my boyfriend's house and drove home 40 minutes away. He was perplexed, but I had a feeling. As I reached my front door, I heard a low crash down the block. Well, no one else heard it or came out. Long story short, I ended up pulling a man out of a burning car before he burned alive.
Wow.
I still have the scars from the burning seatbelt plastic. Some days I think of it as a coincidence. Some days I think it's some kind of intervention. Well, if you save somebody's life, that's definitely an intervention. That's horrifying. Wow. I can't think of a worse way probably to die than that.
I don't even want to think about that.
That's just horrifying. Oh,
yeah.
My Lord. All right, so number 9.
Burning to death is not exactly on my list of things that, I'd ever think about doing.
What do you want to do today, Don?
I think I'll burn to death.
Woo!
Self-immolation. Woohoo! That's hot stuff.
Lightning strikes twice, Don.
Goodness. Oh, jeez.
Allegedly,
You've got to be you've got to be in a bad way to get hit twice.
Dude, I watched this video. I think it was out of Japan, and it's showing this guy, and I don't know, I don't remember the context of it, but it's like he was kind of a jerk to this older woman that was going through this alleyway,
right? And
kind of budged her out of the way and was kind of pushing his way through the alley, and it was a storm, and she had an umbrella and stuff, and he was just going and doing his thing. All of a sudden, you see this flashlight, and the dude's face down in the dirt. Wow. And I think that guy got struck like 4 times or something.
Need it.
He kept getting up. He kept getting up, man. That guy was lit up like a firework over and over. It's like, oh man, that's like the hand of Zeus right there. Mm-hmm. It's like, nope, You pissed off somebody if you got hit that many times. Wow. So, lightning strikes twice. I started having painful period-like cramps, Don.
Oh, gosh.
It happens.
Wow, let me get you on my doll. Wow.
So I made an appointment with my OBGYN the next day. They immediately gave me an ultrasound and discovered a grapefruit-sized tumor where my ovaries should have been. Certain it was cancer. I was in surgery days later. Thankfully, all the cancer was encapsulated in the tumor, so no chemo was necessary. I did have to go on an estrogen patch, though, a year later. I was sitting in my bathtub and reached for a towel. Felt a weird pain in my left breast. All of a sudden, I knew it was cancer again. I immediately pulled off the estrogen patch and went in for a mammogram first thing the next morning. A few days later, I was having a bilateral mastectomy and reconstruction, which I had insisted on because I knew it was my second cancer diagnosis. My doc wanted me to have a lumpectomy and radiation, but I insisted that I never again wanted to have to tell my daughters that I had cancer. After my surgery, my tumor was tested, and it was determined to be a highly recurrent and aggressive. Even though the cancer had not spread into my lymph nodes, I went through 20 rounds of harsh chemo with the hopes it will never come back again. In April, I will celebrate being cancer-free for 5 years.
Wow.
Congratulations. Wow.
Yeah, so she would have left it in and just did the lumpectomy.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Nope, get it out. Get it out now. That's the other thing. If they're going to biopsy something, just take the damn thing out.
Yeah, no doubt.
Biopsy what they took out. Don't leave that stuff in there after you biopsy it. Here's number 20. Say hello to your little friend. I was dropping off something at the bank on my way to my car, and I noticed there's an SUV with super dark windows next to it. On the surface, no biggie. It's a tiny parking lot, but we're the only two cars. They're parked on my driver's side, so I'd have to squeeze in between the two cars to get into mine. It's full daylight on a busy road, so I'm cautious, but I'm not upset or actively worried. Then some guy comes around from the other side of the car and says, "Hey, my friend says he knows you," and motions for me to go around to the other side of the car, as in the side facing the empty road with no way for anyone to see what might happen to me. And I'm noping the heck out, refusing to move, putting my keys between my fingers and forming a fist, ready to run or fight, whatever I have to do. There's a busy shopping center across the street, and if I don't get flattened by traffic, I can make it there in about 30 seconds. Just as I'm about to run, I see one of my colleagues walk out from the other side of the car. He felt so bad about scaring me because, as a guy, he never would have had to be as suspicious as I was. I've worked with him for 14 years, and he still brings it up sometimes. So it really did know him. This person really did know them. Okay. It was a coworker.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't go to them. Make them come to you. Yeah. Sorry, I read that one like terribly, but it was like all of a sudden the words looked funny. Number 21, procrastination. 1 disaster, 0. Procrastination, 1 disaster, 0. Okay. Now I read that right. I work as a frontline tech at a major telecom company. After 15 years ago, we had a big ice storm overnight.
Right.
A tree brought down a pole along with the main cable. Our construction team had put it back up, and me and a coworker were resplicing each end from our lift buckets. About an hour in, my coworker said, "I don't feel really safe right now for some reason." Well, I just finished my side, so I said, "Sounds good. Let's finish it tomorrow." And we left. The next day, I decided to go back on my own and finish up both sides. When I got there, his pole was completely gone, and the cable had been ripped off the other pole again. The neighbor said another tree had come down less than 30 minutes after we left and destroyed the pole and cable.
Wow.
We probably both would have died.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Wow.
That's scary stuff.
Yeah, time to get out. Listen, yeah, definitely reasons to listen. Phew.
Just think if any one of these pieces of advice was ignored, it could have been horrible. Mother knows best. I live in rural Connecticut. My mom was driving me home down a dark, twisty road to my friend's house when we came across a yellow caution tape strung across the middle of the road. Not police line do not cross tape, but just tape that said caution, blocking the whole road. It had been clearly ripped and tied back together in some places. Well, my mom knew something was off. She looked at it for a minute and then gunned it in reverse and got out of there fast. That same night, some woman had gotten out to examine it and had gotten back in her car to call the police because she found it suspicious, but not suspicious enough to leave before dialing 911. And that's the moment she was grabbed out of her car. But the people who grabbed her didn't know that she was already on the line with 911. The police rolled up as the car was driving away with her in the trunk. They chased them down and she lived, but it was scary. Trust your gut with roadblocks. Oh my God. It's so scary to think there are people like that in the world.
Right.
And I know working in corrections, I should know, but it still shocks me.
Yeah, it's because you realize that these animals aren't always in cages.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like there was a lockdown at one of the schools today.
Yeah.
And it was just somebody it was some suspicious person outside of the school.
Mm-hmm.
So they locked the school down and called the police. It's like, okay, it's in a residential area.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's the houses all around. But you never know what's going to happen, especially around an elementary school. So
yeah. And you can't take that risk. Not with the little ones. Man, that's scary stuff. Number 23, sail away. When I was a kid, my mom had a mental breakdown and was in full psychosis. Of course, I was too young to fully understand what was happening. I just had a gut feeling something was very, very wrong with her. So I took my younger sister into the bathroom with me, the only room in our home with a lock, and locked the door. We often played in the tub just by dumping towels and blankets in, dry, and would pretend it was a boat. So I did that, but kept the door locked. My mom disappeared. Hours later, my grandpa called on the phone. When no one answered, I snuck downstairs and answered it. He said he was coming to pick us up because my mom had gone for a drive. From that point on, we lived with my grandparents while my mom was on an involuntary hold at the mental hospital.
wow.
Apparently, she'd driven a few hours away, called him to tell him she'd heard us, and left us in the woods. She had hallucinated all of this, but didn't know the difference. He called the police, and we got picked up. I didn't find out the whole story until I was much older. I just knew in my stomach something wasn't right with my mom, and I had to protect my sister. Wow. Oh, man. Poor kids to have to deal with that kind of stuff, right? Jeez. Number 24, giving vans a bad name. You give vans a bad name.
Oh, boy.
I don't know if vans have a bad name, but I was out walking with my son, daughter, and ex-husband. Me and my ex get along well and occasionally do things as a family still. Well, on this night, there was a little festival down the street from his place, so the kids and I had driven over to his house, parked there, and walked up to the festival. The walk back was dark, and my son was running ahead a lot. I didn't think much of it. My ex and I were just chatting about things, and I noticed a van drive past us twice. I figured he just lost at the festival and blocked off road, but then he circled back 2 more times. By this time, I'd called both kids back and was holding their hands. The van parked up on the corner of the street we were about to head down. I walked with the kids, and my ex approached the van. As he walked up, the van sped off. It kept me up nights later thinking if the van had been around earlier when my son was running ahead. I'm not all a fit lady, so if whoever was in the van decides to jump out and grab my son, I wouldn't have been able to get to him in time. That really freaked me out. I did get a plate and make and model, so I reported it to the police. Yeah, again, monsters. This was pure pressure. My husband is a state trooper and has always said the wreck that sticks with him the most was a group of 4 17 to 18-year-olds in a car speeding on the freeway. One of the kids was screaming and begging the driver to let him out. The driver pulled over and let him out as he and the other 2 passengers made fun of him for being a wimp and not wanting to have fun. A couple of miles later, tragedy struck. The driver flew off an overpass, went over the guardrail and into the freeway below, killing him and the other 2 passengers instantly, and ejecting one of them out of the car. Luckily, there was no one below that they fell into. My husband always remembers that kid who demanded to get out and how terrified and shaken he was when he discovered what had happened. He was able to explain that he was in the car with them just minutes prior and would have been dead had he not been a wimp. Yeah, go ahead, be a wimp.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Cool with that one.
Yep. Wimp out all day long. Number 26, the stare down. I get really bad vibes from the car park at my work. It's giant, poorly lit, multi-story structure, and I've seen enough horror films to know I shouldn't be taking it lightly. Whenever I get in, I pay attention to the floors people call the lift to so I can keep an eye on where they're going. One time a guy got in the elevator in front of me and pressed 6 while I was parked on 8. He didn't get out at 6 and was still in the lift as I got to my floor. I leave, he doesn't, so I guess he's remembered he's on another floor, but just before I get to the dark area with all the cars, I turned back, and this guy had walked about 30 seconds, waited about 30 seconds, and therefore held the lift to wait, and silently followed me. I just stopped and stared him down. He had a deer in the headlights look and turned straight back to the lift. I don't know if it saved my life or what, but I'm glad I shook him off.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's horrible. You don't want to do that wrong. And most of these stories are about these predatory people, isn't it? Like there's so many predatory people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and so now that you brought that up, what other things should you listen to your gut about? Like, like a Bigfoot, howl.
Right.
Listen to your gut. Run. That's probably your best bet.
Well, yeah.
Get the hell out,
Very true.
But I mean, like, what else? I mean, these are all about predatory things, and the car accident, that was a good one.
Yep.
But I mean, come on, let's. Wow.
It's crazy. There's so many.
It's sad to think that that's the thing that most people think about.
Yeah, I know.
That's my point. Ugh.
It's sad to think how many broken people there are.
Yeah.
I think that's my takeaway from this, is there's really that many broken people out there. And I know, I mean, we all got our luggage and we all got our loads to carry, but, I think for the most part, people just do it gracefully and they just sort it out and they live decently.
Right.
Even though they're, dealing with tons of scars and pains and stuff.
Right.
But then there's this other batch of people that
just don't.
They don't care. They don't care. You're pain. They're in pain. Everybody else has to pay for that. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter. There's no empathy. It's terrible.
Right.
Green light, don't go. I just left my apartment complex and was heading to a friend's place. I pulled out of my driveway and up to the traffic light and stopped. I was in the left turn lane. The light was red. It was laid out and there weren't many people on the road. And I watched as the light went yellow and then went red for through traffic. One guy ran the tail end of the yellow like usual. When the light goes green, I have an arrow blinking for me to turn left. I looked both ways and there was no one around, but I just didn't go. I can't explain what happened, other than something inside me said, don't go. So I just sat there staring at the green light. A couple of seconds later, a car came screaming through the red light, through the intersection, probably doing over about 100 kilometers per hour in the lane I would have been turning into. Mm-hmm. They were going so fast, their vehicle had a bounce to it. If I had turned my car, they would have been destroyed and me along with it. I sat there through the whole next light cycle and then turned, pulled over, and called my sister. It was a ghostly feeling. I'm a light jumper. I look both ways, but am impatient, and I can't explain what stopped me from going the second that light went green, but I'm glad it did.
See, now there's another good listen to your gut that's not worried. But, I've had a similar thing happen. My brother, years ago, I don't remember if he just got his license or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was something, it was years ago, gosh. But he was driving.
Okay.
My mom was in the front seat and I was in the back seat. And we were in this big old Ford, like 76 Ford LTD, right? Okay. It's a rolling tank. But I looked up and the light changed. And I just looked at my brother. I said, don't go. And very similar to that, it was a red light on their side. This guy just flies right through it. Oof. And he almost hit the car next to us because it was going.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, yeah, there you go.
There you go. Just takes a second, too.
Yeah.
That's the other part of that thing. It just takes a second
mm-hmm.
of a bad decision, and it has years
yes.
of gravity to it. Bowling for Pennies was who wrote that one. They only come out at night and sometimes in the morning. About 10 years ago, I don't know how long. Let me hold on to this because we're actually at about the hour break.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The hour break, ladies and gentlemen. And we're gonna hit this more of this when we come back. But we are gotta do the hour break. And that just means we're gonna go away for commercials. If you're on TFR, iHeart, tune in to TalkStream Live. If you're on YouTube, you get a song and some videos to watch. So in any case, we'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Don't go away. So melodic.
Like Ronnie James Dio.
Yeah.
Everybody likes to play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace their lines upon my body, dripping scars across my heart. Raging anger pours inside me as their lies keep falling apart. But I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet. I am finished with my silence. I am not a stupid boy. No more breaking me with kindness. Just you dance upon my joy. Leading me with empty promise. You're just another fucking mess. Taking off the slice of my sanity. Just make sure that you're well fed. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken
I can't see you, Mommy. Where are you? I've never sensed anything like it. Caroline is not like those she's with. They're attracted to the one thing about her that is different from themselves. Her life force. It is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire, but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeists are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are of fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
And years and years and years. As can that introduction.
Okay.
It goes on, but damn it, it's entertainment. And that's what we always try to bring you every show we do. And hopefully you feel entertained. If not, there might be something wrong with you. I'm just saying. It's possible. Or there's something wrong with us, but there's almost no doubt of that. So
I didn't even know that was an issue.
no, well,
Somebody's questioning that.
yeah, no,
I don't know about these guys.
I don't know about us
Probably
either.
'cause we don't either.
Yeah, we don't really know what the hell we're doing, and
Sorry, not sorry.
we'll be the first to tell you that we're not sure what we're doing, but we have fun doing it.
Get in, sit down, and shut up. Hang on.
Hang on, we're going in.
We're going in.
And here we are, folks. Hour number 2 is now upon us. And a special thank you to Kev Baker, the Freaky Friday crew. He and Nace and Scotty are always lighting up the Friday nights, warming everything up, getting it all in the perspective that we are honored to take over the wheel and continue to drive that bus. But it's pretty awesome. And
I was just thinking about the comment you made the other day about, falling asleep while driving.
oh, God, that's horrible. Yeah.
So
Still think it's horrible.
it's worse for the people in the back.
Yeah.
Especially of this bus.
Yeah. No, I've done that. It's a horrible, horrid feeling. But we are cooking through 2 full hours tonight. We're in hour number 2. As such, we were in an article talking about when your intuition kicks in and how you should always pay attention to it. And I agree. And Don, I think you and I are both on the same page with this.
Yeah, definitely.
If your gut says something's wrong,
There might be something wrong.
might just be something wrong. So pay attention. This is one I was going to read, and we ran into the break. So I'm going to read it now. It says, number 28, they only come out at night and sometimes in the morning. Sounds pretty diabolical. About 10 years ago, I had a job starting at 6 a.m. on the weekends, and I didn't drive, so I would take the light rail, which is about a 15-minute walk from my house. One dark morning, I saw a person ahead of me, a few blocks away. I usually see homeless people on my walk to the light rail, and most are harmless, just trying to collect cans for the deposit and asking for change, but this guy just felt off. I could tell it from blocks away that there was something wrong about him, so I crossed the street and grabbed my phone from my backpack, and I still had to go to work, and this road is the only way to the light rail. So suddenly I hear a bump over my shoulder, and it was him running toward me with his trousers down. That was the sound of his shoes hitting the pavement as he ran towards me.
Oh, my.
Good God. I took off running, screamed, "I'm calling 911," held my phone to my ear. He must have saw and took it seriously because he ran the opposite direction that I ran. I did call 911, but they wanted me to wait there for a cop, and I was like, heck no.
No.
I said it was because I didn't want to be late for work, but I was terrified of him finding me. I will never forget the sound of his shoes hitting the pavement. Has that ever worked for anybody in the history of bad ideas? To just get naked and run at people, and maybe somebody like, all right, bonus. No, it doesn't work. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know how broken somebody can be, but that's pretty broken. Coming through is number 29. We'll go to 30 and then we'll take it off to something else here. Coming through. I was talking to my mom. Yeah, that's what I meant. I was taking my mom to a follow-up appointment from back surgery the month before. The freeway was closed due to a car accident, and Life Flight was called to transport the people injured from the accident. The highway patrol was funneling everyone off the freeway to the right side exit. I had the strongest feeling we needed to move to the left, farthest lane, so I did. No more than a minute after I moved over, a garbage truck came barreling down the freeway and crashed into the car that was in front of us in the other lane. The truck was going so fast that it lifted the front end of the truck and landed on top of the car.
Wow.
We were in a tiny sports car and would have crumpled like a tin can under the weight of the garbage truck and definitely would have killed my mom and me in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, it's just a quick decision. But there you have it. So that's another fine list of listening to your gut. So I guess the takeaway is
Listen to your gut.
listen to your gut. That's it. All right, Don, you said you had some?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let me see here. So, let's see. What do I have? Oh, let's start with this one. So, according to Forbes magazine, 2021 is shaping up to be the year of the UFO.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. In December 2020, President Trump signed a corona relief bill that included an interesting stipulation. The bill set in motion a 180-day time frame in which U.S. intelligence agencies must tell Congress everything they know about UFO sightings via an unclassified report. Of course, we're all waiting for this.
Yeah. Apparently July
Yeah.
is when that's supposed to come out.
Oh, it's only like 2 months, right? No, it's
Yeah.
3 months. 3 months.
Yep.
Remarkably, in what sounds like an opening crawl of an unimaginative sci-fi film, the report must also include an analysis as to whether or not UFOs pose a threat to national security. Perhaps one day our puny primitive weapons will be used to bring democracy to a space-faring civilization.
Near you.
As the deadline inches closer, public's interest into UFOs has started to spike. Recently encouraged by a Fox News interview with Trump's former intelligence officer, John Ratcliffe, who stated, "Frankly, there are a lot more sightings than have been made public. Some of those have been declassified. And when we talk about sightings, we're talking about objects that have been seen by Navy or Air Force pilots or have been picked up by satellite imagery that, frankly, engage in actions that are difficult to explain, movements that are hard to replicate, and that we don't have the technology for, or traveling at speeds that exceed the sound barrier without a sonic boom." Public interest in the UFO and alien abductions spiked in April 2020 as the Pentagon confirmed the authenticity of 3 videos showing unidentified aerial phenomena shot by U.S. Air Force pilots who were, judging from the recordings, extremely excited by the sight of the mysterious presence in the sky. And of course, those are the Tic Tac videos. Alien invasion and abduction have also become a popular meme, as social media users have jokingly proposed that an alien invasion would be the only way to stop the ever-escalating insanity and surreal news headlines of the last few years. Boy, wouldn't it?
Right.
The Facebook event, Storm Area 51, They Can't Stop Us All, which proves amusing, but anticlimactic, as well as the series of randomly placed art installations known as the mysterious monoliths, have also helped propel alien abduction mythos into public imagination. To add to that, in January 2021, thousands of CIA documents on unidentified flying objects were released in a massive document dump that the agency claims includes all of their UFO records. And, of course, the launching of Space Force, an idea so silly that Netflix created a mediocre comedy. Actually, it wasn't even mediocre. It was just dumb.
Yeah, I did watch that too.
Oh, gosh. I was like, oh, my gosh. You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Created a mediocre comedy based on the concept, only fueled more speculation. It wasn't even mediocre. My gosh. Hence, in early June, the public will be offered an official explanation regarding UFOs, or perhaps the report will merely amount to a resounding shrug, deepening the mystery. But the answer might be a little closer to home than we thought. On Fox News, when asked where the unidentified phenomena were sighted, Ratcliffe replied, all over the world. There have been sightings all over the world. Multiple sensors that are picking up these things. They're unexplained phenomena, and there's actually quite a few more that have been made public. Ratcliffe is correct, but looking at a series animated map, which visualizes the data from a century of reported UFO sightings, it's clear that the vast majority of alleged encounters with extraterrestrials have occurred in the United States. Perhaps there's no P in that word. Otherworldly aliens share. I know that word.
I can't see it. So
No, that's okay. Never mind. Perhaps otherworldly aliens share a deep fascination with the excesses of American culture, similar to the way in which hardcore anime fans fetishize Japan. Or maybe just maybe, our encounters with paranormal are shaped by our cultural values. Who's to say? At least it'll be a little more informed once that report makes its way to Congress. So there you go. So what do you think? Do you think it's just all fashion and just trendy to be?
I think there's certainly a case for people getting on the bandwagon because it's kind of a trendy thing, or they want to be included. I mean, you take any kind of subject matter, and there's always those people who are like, oh yeah, I'm totally into that. I've been into that forever,
right?
Probably even before anyone else, and they're very, very. They use it as an identity thing. I think one interesting takeaway was the last statement that is cultural experience.
Right.
Molding paranormal encounters. And that is kind of interesting because we've talked about that many times, like in Thailand, people being haunted by this little girl spirit that wears like a red dress. And, there is regional spirits.
Was that Thailand or was it Taiwan?
Well, one of the two.
It was over there, yeah.
Yeah, it's an Asiatic country. Or for instance, the Samara type character of Japanese and Asiatic lore. Those do manifest that way. So it almost seems like the paranormal is more of a medium that plays to the expectation of the people. Because nobody over here is encountering those same creatures, and unless now after The Ring. The Ring came out. Now people talk about reporting a Samara kind of character. But prior to that, that was very regional. That was very regionally specific in my understanding.
Right.
So I do think that there's part of that perhaps the paranormal or these intelligences they're not really as prone to a shape or identity like we are. They can just choose one that will elicit the response that they want.
Right.
And so is it more benign that way? No. It's probably just as malicious, but it's doing so with an agenda in mind.
Right.
So I think that's interesting, and I'm surprised to have heard that. Now, the weird part is I think I read that same article last night.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, it's okay because I got to listen to it this time, and I didn't hear, I don't remember that line. And I think that is pretty powerful, though, because if the paranormal tailors itself to the belief system of the people,
right,
then it's more of a force,
right,
rather than just a diabolical intelligence. To me, it's more, I don't know, it gives it a different parameter completely. And maybe I'm just talking in circles and what I'm saying isn't making sense, but I hope it is, because I think it's very profound. Does it make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, it does. You're right. And because spirits as we see them in the United States, or whatever that may be, whether it be and they're talking about the most, when you plot it all out on a map, the bulk of the experiences are in the United States, and so we have such a fascination with things beyond ourselves, and other cultures do too, but they don't obsess on them.
Right.
And that's the thing, is we start to obsess, and it's like calling that spirit to you, you know?
Right.
Like we talk about all the time, you know,
Sure.
if you don't want things happening, stop calling on them, you know,
Right.
stop asking for things to happen.
Right.
And I think that's what we as Americans do in a lot of ways. We talk ourselves into our futures, our realities. I've always said that. And that's just the way it is. So,
Well, what about also? So if the paranormal does tailor itself towards the expectations of the person, is that why some people see maybe a Bigfoot and a rake and a dog man, and other people would see a spirit, or, you know, I mean, you know what I mean? Is it doing it to that degree? So maybe the paranormal is just one other kind of active intelligent force that can be anything.
right.
I don't know. I don't like that explanation as well, because it kind of feels like a con game then, you know. I'd like for this stuff to be real, because I think it's important. I think that whatever's being demonstrated is very powerful and poignant to our understanding of the dimensions and world around us. But if it's just some masquerading force, then it becomes a con game,
Right.
and that turns ugly to me. So I'm hoping that's not right, but it does kind of beg the explanation. Like, how do people see Sasquatch that are fading away if it's a flesh and blood animal?
Right.
You know, how are they observing this? And people are observing it. So, I mean, I'm not taking anything away from that people really indeed are seeing something supernaturally demonstrated, or orbs that turn into little imp-like creatures and things like that. You know, there's just this whole weirdness going on, and maybe that's it. Maybe it's like a trickster. It's
Right.
maybe just a big trickster spirit. Who knows? But anyway, I don't know. It's just way out
No,
there.
absolutely. I mean, there's no way to tell, you know, but then you also have to wonder, you know, about the people who have no imagination, and they just regurgitate stories that they've heard before as their own experiences. Now, how many times have we bumped into that?
Oh yeah.
Or how many times does it feel like we've bumped into that is more appropriate, more of appropriate way to say it.
Right. No, yeah, all the time.
So,
People want to be, I think it was Wes said it best. He said, people want to sit at the table.
right.
You know, and that makes sense. I mean, people want to be included. They want to be involved. They want to be a part of the discussion. And so some people just try really hard to do that.
Right.
And, you know, I don't know if it's a negative thing so much as it's just people wanting to belong.
Right. Yeah,
So-
it's that club, you know, it's
Yep.
wanting to be with the popular kids, or whatever that may be.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it's hard to say. But we are cooking towards the third break.
Already?
Yeah, it's 7 minutes.
Wow.
So we're getting there. I did want to make an announcement before I forget, though. But following the Paranormal Portal tonight on TFR, iHeart, Tune In, TalkStream Live is, of course, Paisley Wild, The Spaces Between, coming up. And do you know what she's doing tonight?
I do not, but I know that she just recently published a book that's available on Kindle
Cool.
called The Wild Pagan A to Z.
The Wild
That's
Pagan
what it's
A to
called.
Z.
Wild Pagan A to Z. So there you go.
Very cool. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so that's out there. But she'll be next, and you can also find her on YouTube as well. She broadcasts her live show on YouTube, much like we do. But her YouTube channel is youtube.com/thespacesbetween. And then following that comes World Bigfoot Radio with the Duke. So always something groovy cooking here on TFR on Friday nights. There's no question. No question, Don.
Nope, none at all.
None at all. So we got just a couple minutes. I'm going to burn through a couple more of these just before the break here. And then on the other side, I got an article that has to do with real genies are far more horrifying than anything you've seen in the movies.
Wow.
Yeah, it's talking about the Jinn. And Jinn are really creepy. They're apparently predate angels. They apparently predate man
Right.
as the very first creation of God or Allah, according to the Quran. And they were made of blue fire. And they are mystical beings. Some are benign, some are benevolent, and some are malevolent. But for the most part, they seem to try to avoid people. But the Jinn are definitely an incredible phenomena. And so we're going to talk about that, see what this article is going to bring up. and then we'll get to more of this cool stuff on the other side. But let me get to that article again, if I can find it. Where the hell did I do with it? Here we go. Predator and prey is where we left off. These are the gut feelings. Pay attention to them. One day in elementary school, I was walking home alone, and this beat-up white pickup truck drove by me really slow. The driver was a middle-aged man and was kind of eyeing me. Well, he drove a little further before turning into a driveway and turning around to drive my way again. At that point, I wasn't convinced of anything other than he needed to be watched. He drove past me again and was like 100% sizing me up or something.
Wow.
Just looking at me like I was prey. I could see it in his eyes, and he was making decisions, and not just looking at me like a neighborhood kid. Well, I turned my head to watch him pull into another tiny side street behind me, and that's when I knew for sure. I started running as fast as I could. I didn't see him again, so I think my sprinting away must have deterred him, as it was still daylight in a populated neighborhood. It always stuck with me, and luckily I'll never know for sure if my gut actually saved me or not. Well, I mean, anybody's acting like a fool like that, yeah, it's better to just book. Just leave it.
Just take on off. See you later.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you can look. Maybe you feel a little foolish running away, but it's better to be safe and foolish,
Right.
than to be in somebody's trunk.
Yeah, it's better to be foolish than dead. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Number 31, missed the bus and something else. All right, I went to go catch my bus. I saw it about to pull out from the stop. If I'd run, I could have made it, but something told me to wait for the next one, so I did. And I caught the next bus half an hour later. Now, I usually sit in the back of the bus on the driver's side, and a little way into the journey, traffic was slowing, and we got to the cause of it. A truck had crashed into the bus I had missed, right into the back on the driver's side. Had I caught the bus, I wouldn't be here. It still gives me chills after 6 years.
wow.
Yeah, it's just that one moment. Strangers with trailers. that's yeah. I was in the mall with my friends, all of us around 12 years old. It was about 8 p.m. and my mom was on her way to pick me up. We were all chilling together until each of our parents got there to get us. Well, as we're standing by a store near one of the side entrances, a man comes up to us, and he's about 30-ish, wearing huge glasses, carrying a clipboard.
Huh.
The man says, "Hey, guys, do you want to watch some movie trailers and answer surveys about them? I'll pay you each $5 per trailer." Well, naturally, my friends are all for it. The thing is, my heart dropped as soon as I heard him speak. As they're all saying yes, the man nods and then points to the side entrance. It's pitch black outside, and that entrance leads to the back parking lot of the mall, which is always deserted. Then he says, "We can do it over there." My friends start to follow the man as he walks towards the glass doors, and I'm trailing behind them. Then, as we get close enough for me to kind of see what's outside, I notice a van parked right outside the entrance.
Ooh, wow.
The headlights are on. The car is running. The back door seemed to be open. Oh, no. Every part of my being screams, "No, don't go." I stop in my tracks and loudly say, "Guys, my mom is here to pick us all up. I don't think we have time for it." The man freezes and keeps his eyes trained on the doors, and I can see his jaw clenching tightly. My friends look at me with confusion, and I try to give them the most terrified expression of warning that I can. Thankfully, they get the message and say bye to the guy. The man refused to turn and look at us and simply began to walk outside the mall. As we're walking away, I turn and look behind me one last time. The van and the man were gone.
Yeah. He refused to look back at him. Yeah, because
No
now he
identification.
doesn't want to be. Yeah, now because they didn't notice what he looked like to begin with. I'm
Right.
sure.
Yeah.
But the second thought, when they're actually checking him out, going,
Yeah.
they probably could describe him.
Oh, that's creepy.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of creepy, folks. Lots of creepy. We got 1 minute. I can probably read this one. I think it was 10 or 11. I was reorganizing my room, moving books and stuff around. I'd been working on it all day. During the process, I moved a bookshelf on top of a dresser to give more space and loaded it with 2 encyclopedia sets and a bunch of other books. Pretty heavy. I ended up moving my bed parallel to the dresser and passed out from working on my room all day. I woke up a little after 4 a.m. and was contemplating getting a glass of water and moving my bed because it didn't look safe under the bookshelf. Well, I finally got out of my bed and walked towards the door, maybe 2 or 3 steps, and that's when it happened. The 1994 Northridge earthquake hit.
Wow.
The bookshelf instantly fell on my bed where I'd just been laying
Yeah,
down.
that hurt. That hurt. A lot.
Oh, yeah. That'd be a thumper for sure. Oh, man. Scary stuff, folks. Definitely trust those guts.
Uh-oh. Did you do a cheap seats last night by any chance?
No.
Oh, because Bomber's saying something about cheap seats are the best. Do we need to leave a pretend nasty comment while we wait for the real trolls?
No. No. They've got to be organic. They've got to be organically in bad taste. And if they are, then they qualify. Then they qualify. But yeah, no. I realize I haven't been using my cameras much tonight. Oh, well. There's the bell, folks.
Break time.
We're going to go to the break. We're going to come back and read some story about some Jinn, and we'll be back at it. So don't go away. Lots more yet to come here on the Paranormal Portal. ladies and gentlemen, last half hour of our show is upon us. Can you believe it? It has gone by pretty quickly.
Yup.
I must say I'm kind of running on fumes today, but still, it's gone always well. The one part of every day I love is doing this show. It's the one beautiful thing. I have a lot of beautiful things. I can't complain, but yeah, I just feel like, it's one of those days that we put the trampoline together today, and that was a labor. And the problem with that is get all the springs loaded and then realize that the fencing part was wrong. So I had to undo everything and redo it all. Mm-hmm. And man, it took hours. I mean, I'm running on about 30% anyway, and it was just like, oh God. But we got it done. And the minions happily bouncing away outside today, so that was cool.
Yep.
Absolutely. But we have some more of the paranormal goodness that you've come to love right here, fresh on the baking board. And we're going to get to that right now. And we're going to get to it right now. Okay.
Hey!
There we go. Where is it? There's not it. There's not it. There it is. All right. So we're going to get to a story, an article that I found having to do with real genies. And oftentimes in the West, we get this romanticized version of the Jinn or genies. And genies are the Jinn, D-J-I-N-N or G-I-N-N. There's many, many different spellings. Mm-hmm. But the idea is that they are these mystical beings that are somewhat like angels, but not angels. They're like a creation of the divine, but they're very much their own thing. And generally they don't seem to, for the most part, they don't seem to really care a whole lot about us as far as people. Like angels revere people because a commandment of God. These are my children, love them. And the Jinn didn't take to that so well, I guess. So they don't really care too much about us, but they seem to be a part of our world. They're apparently made by the blue flame in their construct, so they were made very differently than any other creature as well. But what are they? Well, we got the romanticized Aladdin versions where they're just these magical cosmic beings that are chained to lamps, and you rub the lamp and you make some wishes. And things go kind of sideways from there. But they're not really like that at all either. They are apparently these super potent, supernatural creatures that are generally just want to be left the hell alone. And so let's see what this article says, because I know that, in doing the show, I've learned more about these than ever before. But I was surprised to learn how much is going on in this whole lore and people's experiences. But let's see what this article says. And this is coming from ranker.com. And the article in question is from a collection of 49 articles, Creepy Creatures of Ill Repute. These are real genies, are far more horrifying than anything you've ever seen in movies. If mythological beings who appear in movies to grant people wishes were Jinn rather than genies, the person who rubbed their lamp might wish they hadn't. Jinn are the supernatural creatures who inspired the modern-day genie, but unlike the magical characters of I Dream of Jeannie, Walt Disney's Aladdin's, these beings aren't interested in helping people and making friends. Tales of Jinn go way back, long before the advent of Islam, but their inclusion in the Quran gave them the notoriety that has allowed them to permeate our modern culture in some parts of the world. Flesh-eating, malevolent Jinn are lesser-known paranormal entities, similar to lamp-dwelling genies. What is a Jinn? There are different categories of Jinn, and while not all are evil, the ones that are can be pretty scary. Some Jinn may be content with playing pranks, but others are said to possess people, which can sometimes lead to exorcisms gone wrong. Since they live in a world parallel to humans, these beings can't be seen unless they reveal themselves. Like the creepy night hag Jinn, night hag, the Jinn simultaneously exists in their world and in ours, and they do whatever they please. They are not inherently evil creatures, but many choose to cause mischief. Jinn are not inherently good or evil, although many choose to indulge in bad behavior. They have a reputation for being mischievous and are known to deceive and fool humans. In addition to pulling pranks, they may change their shape, tell lies, and otherwise lead people astray and corrupt them. Some people also blame jinn for their health problems. In 2000, teachers at a school in Saudi Arabia blamed jinn for causing seizures in their students. Some even believe jinn can trick doctors into giving incorrect diagnoses and performing unnecessary surgeries. They live mostly unseen in a parallel world to humans. Excuse me. Islamic scholars refer to jinn as dual-dimensional, meaning they have the ability to exist in both the human world and their own. Because of this, along with their ability to shapeshift, jinn are never seen by humans unless they choose to reveal themselves. In fact, jinn is translated as something concealable, invisible, or hidden. Some Islamic scholars believe humans will never even be able to understand jinn, aside from the few messages and prophets who have been able to maintain contact. According to witnesses, jinns sometimes have hooves or hairy legs. They can be male or female and have the ability to fly. Some believe each person is assigned an individual jinn who watches over them and acts as a companion.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Yeah, I don't know. The connection between jinn and human is sometimes so close that stories have emerged about human and jinn falling in love.
What?
Oh, that's pretty. That's sweet. The Quran says jinn were created from fire.
Yep.
According to the Quran, Allah created the angels the day before he created jinn, saying, "Indeed, we created man from dried clay of black smooth mud, and we created the jinn before that from the smokeless flame of fire." It's generally believed all angels are jinn, but not all jinn are angels. Unlike angels, which Allah created from light to follow his commandments, Allah gave jinn free will and magical powers, making them kind of like a group of superpowered humans. If this was free will that eventually led the jinn to grow prideful over thousands of years and believe themselves better than Allah, angered by this, Allah sent the angels to fight them, offing most of the evil jinn in the process. Allah then created man from clay and ordered the angels and jinn to honor Adam, the first man.
Can I point something out about that picture?
Sure. That's not a surprise. That's what you would see. That's a long nose. That's all I'm going to
He's
say.
got some bags under his eyes.
Yeah. He does. He's carrying a load. Jinn share many qualities with humans, including free will. Jinns share many qualities with humans, the most important of which is free will. They choose what to do with their lives. They can get married, have children, drink, eat, find jobs, form communities, and decide whether or not to be Muslim. Like humans, jinn will supposedly be judged on the final day of reckoning. According to Islam, Allah assesses jinn just like humans and sends them to paradise or hell, depending on how they lived. Yeesh. Jinn often live in objects and may be able to possess humans. According to some Islamic researchers, jinn can possess people. In stories, people possessed by jinn often speak in tongues, have seizures, or become uncharacteristically aggressive. Luckily, believers say jinn can be exorcised through ceremonies that include reading from the Quran or using incense, charms, animal teeth, or salt to drive the jinn away. In some cases, people have physically beaten possessed people to remove the jinn.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yep.
Just get a good butt kicking going. In addition to people, jinn can also inhabit inanimate objects, including precious stones and gems. They may haunt houses or other buildings, like schools, as well as sewers and drain pipes. Prophets and poets can sometimes speak to jinn. Well, I don't know, that breath didn't work. Well,
Okay.
while most people are unable to see jinn, poets and prophets share a special connection with them. Several Arabic poets throughout history claim to have been inspired by their jinn, leading to the creation of the term shair. To explain this supernatural phenomena, according to Islam, Allah sent the Prophet Muhammad to share his word among the jinn, as well as humans. King Solomon of Israel also could communicate with jinn and used it to make them do what he wanted. Solomon reportedly forced rebellious jinn to help him cure sick people and persuaded them to construct the first temple. See, now I've heard that was demons, though.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. Now
Yeah.
question, could Jinn just be what
like angels.
Christians call demons?
Right. Good point. Yeah.
And
That's
yeah.
the bleed through.
But I wouldn't mind a bottle of Solomon. That'd be nice.
A bottle of what?
Probably nice and tasty. A bottle of Solomon.
Solomon?
Solomon supposedly created a bottle that he kept a gin in.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, a bottle of Solomon.
Ah, gotcha. He also allegedly had a ring that could command all the demons.
Right, yep.
So ghouls, a subcategory of jinn, drink blood and eat flesh. Wow, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
While many jinn are content to either ignore or simply play pranks on humans, the category of jinn known as ghouls, from the Arabic ghoul, would rather eat them. As some of the most feared jinn, ghouls enjoy feasting on flesh and drinking blood. In ancient times, people told stories of ghouls who would walk through the desert to prey on travelers. The dangerous jinn would transform into beautiful women to attract their prey. Some legends claim men married ghouls without knowing their true form and became their next meal. Oh, horrible. It's like a spider. It's the praying mantis of dating. It's believed ghouls spend most of their time in uninhabited or abandoned places, especially ruins and graveyards. Ifrit jinn live like humans but are evil. Considered to be among the evilest of all jinn, Ifrit build communities and establish social hierarchies similar to those of humans. Ifrit usually marry and have children among members of their clans or tribes, but stories exist about their relations with humans. Some even marry humans and have children with them. Many believe Ifrit hang out on ancient ruins to protect them, but legends claim these jinn will end the lives of trespassers that enter these areas without using the proper spells. Believers say people should avoid Ifrit whenever they can, as the spirits can be dangerous. Yikes. Jinn evolved into genies thanks to the translation of Arabian Nights. The Romans adopted jinn into their culture as they expanded their empire into parts of modern Syria. Their version of jinn were benevolent guardians and the Romans referred to these spirits in Latin as genii. Many years later, in 1704, Antoine Galland translated Arabian Nights, also known as 1001 Nights, for European readers for the first time. He pronounced the first translation in French and substituted the jinn of the story with the French word genie. And the stories spread, and people translated them into other languages, and the word genie stuck, as did the idea of the spirits being all-powerful yet kind-hearted. A few stories in Arabian Nights included Aladdin, didn't appear in the original, and are believed to have been written by Galland himself. After inspecting Galland's diaries, scholars learned a man named Hana Diab told Galland the additional stories, and Galland wrote them down. However, they came to be the tales in Arabian Nights molded our conception of genies into beings seen in modern movies and television. The shape-shifting Merid jinn are some of the most powerful. Jinn, known as Merid, are what most people picture when they think of genies. Merid jinn wield a lot of power and grow to a large size. Their name means giants in Arabic, and they have the ability to shapeshift. According to legend, Merid can grant wishes but require a lot of convincing to do so. It's said that flattery works to earn the favor of a Merid. If compliments don't do the trick, a summoner may need a magic to imprison them. Uh-oh. Gotta imprison them, Don. One jinn refused to obey Allah and became the equivalent of Satan. Although there's debate as to whether he was an angel or a jinn, one being named Iblis refused to obey Allah's word when Allah created man and asked the angels and jinn to bow before Adam. Iblis thought himself superior to humans and refused. Adam then forced Iblis to leave paradise and live in hell. Iblis accepted this but requested that he be allowed to remain in contact with the humans so he could try to influence them towards evil. And who said yeah to that? Who said yes? That was a terrible idea.
Yeah, well,
Some theologians compare Iblis to Satan, but point out Iblis has no power over humans. Any evil actions blamed on him are the fault of the sinners. Belief in jinn preceded Islam. Long before Muhammad began sharing the Quran, many ethnic groups in the Middle East, including ancient Mesopotamians, Bedouins, and Arabs, believed in jinn. They worshipped them, connected the jinn to the natural world, and thought they held power over the fertility of the land. To the ancient Mesopotamians, these often shapeless demons were neither good nor bad, but could arrive via storms or strong winds to punish the wicked and cure disease. Although jinn are sometimes referred to as demons, the term is a translation of the Greek word daimon, meaning spirit, and didn't have implications of evil in the ancient world. Even frightening jinn like Pazuzu, featured in William Frederick's 1973 film The Exorcist, were not all evil. The Mesopotamians sometimes called on Pazuzu to protect children and women. And that's also believed to be the spirit behind the Zozo phenomena, which is found in Ouija boards and Ouija sessions. As a matter of fact, when you watch that Ghost trailer, the second commercial break, it ends with a woman going into a seizure, and you can see that the name they got when they wrote down on paper was Zozo, XOXO. Mm-hmm. And that's plenty creepy stuff. Let's do this. There we go. What do you think of all those?
Is that it? Oh, dang.
Is that it? That was a lot, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, but it was good. That's besides, some people that have talked about it on past shows, that's the most I've ever really heard, that I haven't had to, research myself. Right. But, now that you've read that, some of the stuff that I've known about or heard about before, comes into light a lot more. So
yes,
there you go.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff, folks. But that was that article. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think those kind of things are interesting because, obviously, most of it's born of Middle Eastern, ideals and such. So it's very foreign to us over here. But I don't know. Again, that's the weird part of it for me is that in the Middle East, you'll experience jinn. Mm-hmm. If you go into ruins or you go into places, they're ghost hunting shows. They chase jinn. Right. But in the U.S. it would be ghosts. Right. And it's wild. It's like regional. And so again, I go back to that statement: does the paranormal tailor itself to the expectations of the person? Right.
And yeah, because it's our cultural upbringing. It's the things that we were taught to be scared of. Right. And other cultures are scared of other things.
Other things. Absolutely. And I know that, granted, there's some creepy stuff out there for sure, but that's some really wicked, weird stuff. I don't know if I think I read all these. This is one about skinwalkers, but I'm pretty sure I covered it. I gotta double check that. There's this article also we're going through about shadow people. Mm-hmm. And I think this would be a great place to wind out the last few stories of the night.
There you go. Because, congratulations to Julia.
Oh, what happened?
She passed her CNAs.
Woo, congratulations. Awesome,
She's
man.
now a certified
nursing assistant. Good job. Well done, dude.
She's certified.
Certified? We always knew she was certified.
Well, that's true, yeah.
we love you. Congratulations.
We always had faith in you.
Here's the story of a shadow man. Shadow man, if you're not familiar with a specific kind of ghostly apparition that people experience, generally, most people consider them pretty negative and dark. True enough. They oftentimes believe that shadow people are not up to good. And so if you see them, it's probably best to not see them or to move away. Mm-hmm. This one is Shadow Man on the Road. I don't know if I read this one before or not, but I'll recap it if we have read it. It's very short. It says, I've always been very observant, and I notice everything around me in detail. When I was 13, I was riding home from the supermarket with my older brother, and all of a sudden, a dark figure dove under the car.
Wow.
It happened very quickly, but I saw it straight on. It was definitely in the shape of a man, and it seemed to appear out of nowhere. I just saw a shadow man. I said to my brother, of course, he made a joke of it. I went along with it, but it was more than a joke to me. I saw another shadow man that very night when I got out of bed to go to the bathroom. I know it was not my mind playing tricks. That's creepy. The reflection. I've seen shadow people at least twice. The most recent was while sitting in front of a TV that was turned off. The reflection showed a dark entity seated beside me, and I was annoyed, and soon it was gone. I hope I never have another experience like it again. A long time ago, I saw what appeared to be a man wearing a top hat who moved in the shadows of a great building. He appeared to look almost like a phantom, appearing though he were a sail mast consisting of electrical magnetic signals. I'm not even sure what that means. Okay.
So, shadow people and the Hat Man.
Yeah, which, well, shadow people can encompass what the phenomenon called the Hat Man as well. It's a very specific type of shadow person. But yeah. Blue shadow people or dimensional travelers. I have recurring visitations from a life form that I call the blue people. They don't really look like humans, though, and they're about 4 feet tall. They walk erect on legs, but the knees bend backwards. They have 4 fingers and 2 thumbs, and roughly the same configuration on their feet. The toes and fingers are webbed, and they have no shoulders and no neck. They just go up from the shoulders into a bulbous head. The face consists of 3 crescents that are arched down like a grimace. The shortest on top and the longest at the bottom. They are blue. They visited me for about 5 years now, to my knowledge, and they come late at night when everything is quiet. The first thing and the thing that wakes me is a high-pitched whine. That's followed by a white light that appears through the wall or whatever they choose to enter it from. They come in through the light when it opens enough for them to pass. I was quite scared at first and thought that I was having a lucid nightmare. After that, though, when they returned several times, I realized that they were benevolent and only curious about this world. They would walk around my room, look at things, and try to touch things. For a long time, when I tried to speak to them, they would just rush back into the light and disappear. I tried everything to set up some kind of communication, but only recently did I have a breakthrough of sorts. When I opened my mouth to speak, one of them rushed over, put his hand on my mouth. It got quiet, and it touched my eyes, and then touched my ears. Then it touched the 3 crescents on his face, touched my eyes and ears again. One thing I must interject is that they have no physical form here. I mean, they're kind of like ghosts, so when I say they touched me, it wasn't like really being touched. It took me a while to put it all together, but I've done so, and the message is that they see with sound. My voice blinded them and scared them, and it may even have injured them. I think they are dimensional explorers, and I think that they would like to communicate. I'm working on different approaches to doing that.
Huh.
That's pretty bizarre. You're not buying it, Don?
I don't know.
Yeah, that one's kind of out there. It's tough to know. And the weird part is that it's such a unique experience to this person. You know, it's not like we've heard a bunch of other people say similar things.
Right.
So it's hard to know what to do with these kind of stories. But is it possible? Sure. Smokey and the Shapeless. I've been seeing something similar to shadow people for a long time now. Although the shadows I see don't look like people exactly, and they're in the bottom corners of the house, I see them from the corner of my eye and they are smoky, but they are shapeless and dissipate as soon as I look head on at them, usually around a corner. I definitely get a malevolent feeling from them, though. I always believed them to be demons, and I still do, as I don't believe in life after death, or aliens, or ghosts. So, believes in demons, but not life after death.
How does that work? Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
Because God says that you will either go to heaven or hell, or live in purgatory, or whatever, you know.
Yeah. That's a lot of reconciliation.
But demons are a Christian word.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't get it.
Well, I'm seeing a psychiatrist for clinical depression, and finally
Wow.
told him about it as it was bothering me. And I told him I was going crazy, and of course he immediately put me on a psychotropic drug and wanted to know if I heard voices too, which I thought was crazy. I haven't been on the drug long enough to see if it will change my seeing them, but somehow I get the feeling, just having told someone that I won't see them anymore. Wouldn't that be a placebo effect? That's from somebody named Barbara. So I don't know, Barbara, could be. But I do know however, I do know that was about
Really?
the whole of our journey
The
tonight.
entirety of it, huh?
The entirety of it, Don. It's all behind us now, sir. But we did, hopefully it was a good journey. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I obviously enjoyed bringing it to you. I hope you enjoyed being here for it and are leaving here a new follower of the Paranormal Portal. If you're not already subscribed, get subscribed. We'd love to have you stick around, be a part of what we do in the future. But that's all I got. Don, anything?
Nope.
All right.
Not really. Just Teespring and stuff. So there you go.
All right, guys. Love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. Stick around. Paisley Wild coming up next. Good night, everybody.